Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? It's Makeda Valletta, also known as the Body Scientist. And right now I am live on YouTube and Instagram. Okay, so I'm in both places. I'm looking at two cameras. If you're on IG, make sure you follow me on YouTube and vice versa. I hope you all are doing well today. Um, in case you're unfamiliar with me, let me give my intro. In case you're unfamiliar with me, I have a Bachelor of Science in Exercise and Sports Science, Nutrition Science, and I did some graduate work in Applied Physiology and Nutrition. And I just completed a master's degree in Medical Cannabis Science and Therapeutics from the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy. Okay. So, nutrition science is a lot of biochemistry. So, when you're dealing with neurotransmitters in the brain, nutrition affects are how our the hormones and our neurotransmitters completely, and how our brain functions, and also what we do with our body. Okay, what we actually physically do with our body also affects our brain and our brain function. Okay, so I have that background, and then in completing my master's in medical cannabis science, all of my professors were pharmacists. It was at the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy. So I also have studied the biochemistry from a pharmaceutical standpoint. And I am very anti-pharmaceutical, okay? I have been anti-pharmaceutical since I was addicted to Advil. I think it was the 7th grade, okay? I was addicted to Advil because I had a headache issue. And I would have a headache and I would take Advil, have a headache tomorrow, take Advil. And it might have been my twin brother who noticed that I was taking Advil all the time. And my mom took me to the doctor. And the doctor said, "Oh, that's the rebound effect." He said, if you have a headache and you take Advil, Tylenol, whatever, you take it like 2 times, 3 times, then you start getting a headache. You start getting a headache because you didn't take the Advil, right? So that is what addiction is, okay? My earring keeps falling out. That is what addiction is. Addiction is you actually have withdrawal symptoms. You're actually getting sick if you don't consume this thing, okay? And caffeine is very addictive. Caffeine is very addictive. Cannabis is not, okay? It's not going to make you sick, okay, in that way. So anyhow, back then when I learned about this rebound effect, I became very conscious of not using Advil for my headaches. And I started to really think about, like, why am I getting this headache in the first place, right? Like, why am I getting them in the first place? So from back then, I started to really analyze that. And I grew older. I got into nutrition science when I went into my graduate program, our first graduate program at Columbia University in applied physiology and nutrition. We had to take nutritional biochemistry, okay? Because medical students, nutrition students, and pharmacy students all have to take biochemistry, okay? We just learn it from different angles. And so I remember learning this in one of my nutritional biochemistry classes. My professor who taught me biochemistry in the nutrition education program at Columbia also taught the medical students at Columbia. And he would tell us the things that the medical students weren't learning, okay? Certain angles in biochemistry, right? Because everything has to do with nutritional deficiencies and toxicities, okay? Different health problems, issues people have with their skin, issues they have with their gut, issues they have with their brain, issues that is all linked to nutritional toxicities and deficiencies. Doctors do not learn that, okay? They do not learn that. They do not learn that if a woman goes to the gynecologist on a day when her folate levels are low, she could have an abnormal pap smear. That does not mean that that woman has cancer, but because doctors see this abnormal, okay, if a woman goes, if she gets a pap smear when her folate levels are low, she'll have abnormal cell division in that pap smear. And the doctor says, "Oh, we don't know if this is cancer. Let's do a biopsy to see." Okay. And they do an invasive procedure that's completely unnecessary that can cause damage to see if it's cancer, when really that woman just has low folate. She needs to go put folate in her diet for a few months and come back and do another pap smear instead of jumping to a biopsy. The best source of folate is liver. Okay, liver. Liver is an extremely potent source of folate, as are eggs and stuff like that, right? Okay. So I learned about the rebound effect again in that nutritional biochemistry class. Now, I did a video maybe like last year or something, or 2 years ago, about brain health. It was called cholesterol. I forget the name of the video, but I did a video about cholesterol and brain health. And you can find it on my YouTube page. The Body Scientist 81 is also on my IG page. But our brain is made of saturated fat, long chain saturated fat, long chain omega-3 fats, EPA and DHA, and long chain omega-6 arachidonic acid. Okay. All of those are found only in animals. Arachidonic acid found in stuff like red meat and butter and stuff like that. The long chain omega-3, the EPA and DHA, that is found in cold water seafood. It is found in the meat and milk of grass-fed animals. It's found in fish eggs, which is seafood. Well, yeah, cold water seafood. It's not in all fish. It's in the cold water fish like salmon. It's in like shrimp and stuff like that. And then you have EPA and DHA, right? And then you have long chain saturated fats, okay, which are only in animals, okay? That's what our brain is made out of. Then we have something called the myelin sheath, okay? The myelin sheath is the coating that covers our nerves. Think of our nerves like wires, right? Wires send signals. Wires send signals, and wires are coated with like plastic or whatever that stuff is, right? And it protects the signal so it can go to where it needs to go. When you take the casing or the whatever off the wire, it messes with the signal sending. Same thing is true with our nerves. So we have something called myelin sheaths, which are like that. It's coating our nerves, and it's helping the signals to send efficiently to where they're going. Our myelin sheaths are made from cholesterol, okay? They're made from cholesterol, okay? So when people get neurodegenerative diseases, they're getting Parkinson's and multiple sclerosis and Alzheimer's and dementia. If you want to prevent those things, you have to eat a lot of cholesterol, a lot of animal fat, all the eggs, all the bacon, okay? All the dairy. And also, eggs are very good for the brain because they're high in choline, okay? As well. Choline is really important for making the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. So going to this dementia conversation, right? There are a lot of meds. There are meds that I already knew cause dementia, but in the past couple of days, I've discovered even more, and it's really crazy, okay? So, unfortunately, I have an aunt, okay, who was put on, she's, 85. She was put on statins, okay? Now, in America, they basically try to put people on statins when they get to be a certain age by any means necessary. Doctors try to force statins on people, and now they're giving statins to children, which is crazy because children's brains are growing and developing. Remember that I said our brains are mostly made from long-chain saturated fat, long-chain omega-3s, cholesterol, all from animals. You also you can only get cholesterol from animal foods, okay? All of that stuff is important for your brain. So to take kids and say, we're going to give them cholesterol-lowering meds. Now, these statins, these cholesterol-lowering meds, they cross the blood-brain barrier, okay? And cholesterol itself can't pass the blood-brain barrier. Then the brain itself produces its own cholesterol. Cholesterol is so important for the brain that the brain actually produces its own, okay? And taking a statin, it crosses the blood-brain barrier and it stops our brain from making cholesterol. Our hormones, our sex hormones are made from cholesterol. Testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, all made from cholesterol. Vitamin D is made from cholesterol. And vitamin D deficiencies are also seriously linked to dementia and neurodegenerative diseases, okay? And vitamin D is made from a cholesterol backbone. And vitamin D occurs in high cholesterol foods like cod liver oil, liver, egg yolks, raw dairy, fish eggs. Every single food that you find in nature that's high in vitamin D is also high in cholesterol. And then when you make cholesterol from the sun, you're making it from the cholesterol that's in your skin and your blood. The UV rays interact with that, and that's how it produces vitamin D. Okay. So vitamin D is a cholesterol backbone. Cholesterol is so important. You cannot eat enough cholesterol. It is not true that cholesterol causes heart attacks. Okay. Now I'm not going to get super into that in this video. I'll do another video on that soon because this video is really what to focus on dementia. I've been talking about this for a while, so there's several videos I've done, and on YouTube I'll post some other videos below, some references. If you're on Instagram, you should definitely follow me on YouTube because sometimes I post things on YouTube I don't post on Instagram. And if you're on YouTube and you don't follow me on Instagram, then same things. I post books and things on Instagram that I don't post on YouTube. But I can send you several references, or you can just go into YouTube yourself and type in the cholesterol myth. Okay, just type that. Okay, type in saturated fat is good for your brain. Type cholesterol is good for you. Just type that on YouTube and see what comes up. There's plenty of doctors and scientists that have been talking about this. There's plenty of books I can recommend for you to look at. Okay, cholesterol is vital. It does not cause heart attacks at all. Okay. What causes heart attacks is inflammation from eating too much sugar and too much rancid seed oils. Okay. That is really the issue. Okay. So with older people, and when it comes to my parents, I'm very much have my ear to the street in terms of the medications they try to put them on. My mother she listens to me more. Okay. And she's not with all the drugs. And she can put her foot down because doctors make you feel, everybody at any age, they make you feel guilty, like you have to take these things. And they really try to kind of shame you into it. And so it can be hard. Some people feel like they have to take this because the doctor's saying it. And my mother had a situation where she went to a pharmacy to pick up something, and it wasn't cholesterol meds. But when she went there, they were trying to give her cholesterol meds because they said her doctor called it in, and my mom had already told the doctor, "I'm not taking that." Right? So they can be very pushy about that. So my aunt, she's taking these statins, and then she experienced the loss of her son. She experienced the loss of her husband, and she got put on SSRIs. SSRIs are antidepressants. Okay. And a lot of times they're prescribed to people just off the rip, all right? When something depressing happens, they're going through depression. They could have a loss or something like that. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at the comments on YouTube. Okay. And what was I about to say? That I forgot what I was saying just now. Totally lost my train of thought. Looking at the comments messed me up. SSRIs. Okay, doctors a lot of times put people on it just off of practice. If somebody experiences a death or they're having PTSD or some type of trauma, a lot of times that just gets prescribed for them. SSRIs are linked to dementia as well. Okay, SSRIs are linked to a lot of different health issues, weight gain, all types of stuff, but definitely linked to dementia. So when I see that, like my aunt who is perfectly fine, now all of a sudden she's getting dementia, and people think that that's like a normal part of aging. It's not. And I'm like looking at her medications, and it's like, first of all, an older person should not be on Zoloft. Okay, Zoloft is not good for anybody. It barely works. Zoloft barely works. And a lot of times it makes people suicidal and homicidal. Okay, so I don't understand taking a medication for depression that's going to make you suicidal and homicidal. And I feel like it's contributing to a lot of these murder-suicides we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of murder-suicides in this country where people are just offing their whole family and themselves. I'm like, I wonder if they were on SSRIs because that's known to cause that, okay? And dementia. So now you have the statins and the SSRIs, okay? They're called serotonin I don't know, SSRI drugs, okay? Now, another class of drugs that can cause dementia is anti-cholinergic drugs. Okay. Anticholinergic. Okay, so we have acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter in our brain that's super important. Okay, acetylcholine is it's a neurotransmitter that's vitally important for memory, learning, attention, and involuntary muscle movements. Okay, and oh yeah, reuptake inhibitors, exactly. Serotonin reuptake inhibitors. That's what SSRI stand for. Yes. Okay, so then you have the anticholinergic drugs, which include antihistamines, antidepressants as well, um, medications for overactive bladder issues, and also medications to relieve Parkinson's. All of those can fall in the category of anticholinergics. And you have over-the-counter drugs like Benadryl and Dimetap, and drugs to help you sleep like Tylenol PM. All those are anticholinergic drugs, which block the action of acetylcholine, and they definitely can lead to dementia. Okay, so how many people knew that? You know that Benadryl can cause dementia. Okay, and then I'm also finding out that COPD drugs can cause dementia. And I want to think that the COPD drugs might be similar to drugs that asthmatics take, actually, now that I think about it. And it's interesting because, hold on, I'm going to look something up real quick. Oh, no, let me not mess with that. Hold on. I don't want this to close out. Okay. It's interesting because of the fact that I'm so anti-pharmaceutical, because I see that pharmaceuticals just cause another problem. Like, on top of taking those medications, a lot of people are not eating high cholesterol diets because cholesterol is demonized. People are being told, don't eat cholesterol because it's bad for your heart, which is a lie. Okay. So the same thing that's good for your brain is good for your heart. Your heart actually uses saturated fat as a fuel. Okay. And cholesterol does not clog your arteries or any of that. That's all a lie. Okay. I'll do a video about cholesterol soon. I did a video about cholesterol years ago, but I'll do an updated one. Cholesterol is actually an antioxidant. Okay. We have cholesterol in every cell in our body. This is why I put animal fats in my skin moisturizer, because we have cholesterol. Even our skin is an organ. Our skin is our largest organ. Our skin is a part of our immune system. And you want to have tight skin junctions, just like you want to have tight junctions in your gut. You don't want to have leaky gut. Okay. You don't want to have leaky skin. Okay. The gut and the skin are connected, and you want there to be tight junctions. Arachidonic acid, which also are endocannabinoids, are made from arachidonic acid. Okay. I made a video 2 years ago titled, do you know that our endocannabinoids are made from animal fat? And that video, because the reason why cannabis works for so many different health problems is because we have endocannabinoid receptors all over, like, practically every part of our body. And cannabinoids, either endocannabinoids, which are cannabinoids our body makes, or phytocannabinoids, which come from plants, okay, either one of those bind to those receptors and cause illicit changes and modulations in those systems. All right. So our body makes endocannabinoids on demand. Our neurons make them on demand from arachidonic acid. Arachidonic acid is a fat, an omega-6 fat that comes from animals. Okay. So another piece of proof that you need animal fat for a healthy brain. Okay. And so not only do you need to avoid those medications, you need to be eating a high cholesterol diet, lots of liver. Okay. Liver is also high in choline. Okay. Let me see something. I have some notes about choline. Choline, okay, I have some notes because I don't want to forget. So choline is found in meat, eggs, fish, dairy, and liver. Okay, liver and eggs being some of the most potent sources. So adults need about 550 milligrams a day of choline, right? Babies and kids is a lot less, and it changes at different ages. It could be from 100, 150, 200, 250. It goes up as you get older, and then you get into adults, and it's about 550 a day. Of course, if a woman is pregnant or breastfeeding, that would go up. Okay. So let's just say roughly around 550 a day for an adult. Now, one egg, okay, has one, and it's the yolk, not the white, okay? One egg has 147 milligrams of choline. So, two eggs can get almost half your daily value. Four eggs, you can get all your daily choline. Liver has 3 ounces of cooked beef liver has 359 milligrams of choline. Cooked beef, 115 milligrams. 3 ounces of caviar, 285 milligrams. 3 ounces of salmon, 187 milligrams. Okay. Chicken and turkey, 72 milligrams, and about 3 ounces or whatever. Okay. So choline, we need about 550 milligrams of choline, okay, to really keep your brain healthy, okay, and that neurotransmitter going. And let me see. Yeah, our liver makes choline. Our liver makes a little bit of choline, but we need to get most of it from our diet. And yeah, I'm not going to get too much into choline right now, but it's super important. Okay, so we want to avoid anti-cholinergic inhibitors because anti-cholinergic drugs, because it inhibits acetylcholine, which is why it leads to these issues. We want to avoid statins, which block your body's ability to produce cholesterol and blocks your brain's ability to produce cholesterol, so it can quickly cause dementia, okay, and other neurodegenerative diseases. We want to stay away from the SSRIs, which is the serotonin reuptake inhibitors, okay? Want to avoid that, which are given for depression. But you know what's a better alternative to SSRIs? You know what's a better alternative to the anticholinergic drugs? Do you know what's a better alternative to cholesterol meds? Cannabis, okay? And a good diet, okay? I just told you about the foods: liver, eggs, butter, beef, okay? Seafood, fish eggs, okay? That's what you need for a healthy brain. That's what you need if you want to live a long time. Eat some bacon, okay? Cook some eggs and a bunch of butter. It's a health food. So, I noticed I was about to say something else. And also, even those videos about medications, it's like, also to prevent dementia, it's really important to exercise, okay? It's important to engage in strenuous activities. And I just saw my Haitian dance teacher. I don't know if he's still on this live, but he was on the live. An amazing dance teacher I studied with in New York. If you are ever in New York City, you have to take his dance class. He teaches on Thursdays and Saturdays in Brooklyn and Fridays in Manhattan. And I need to go this evening, but it's cold outside. But I'm going to try to make it. But dance in general, okay, and for me, especially Black dance, people hear me talk about Black dance all the time. And even more so Haitian dance, so that there's levels to it, okay? Because Haitian folklore to me is very challenging, okay? It challenges your feet, your hips, your shoulder, your head. Everything's on different rhythms, your footwork, and constantly learning new choreography, remembering that choreography, expressing that through your body, and then doing it again, and then even switching up styles. Like I'll study Afro-Brazilian stuff and Afro-Cuban stuff and Congolese and Haitian and pole dance. It's like when you're learning new things helps your brain. But also, learning new things that are physical even more so, because your brain tells your body what to do. So your brain is involved in muscle control and muscle movements. All of that stuff keeps your brain also on point. So it's like you have a nutritional component, you have the stay away from those medications component, and you have what you're doing with your body and your mind component, okay? So all of those are really important, okay? And for me to just find out, so the anticholinergic drugs are used for sleeping. Antihistamines, cannabis can be used for that. You want to have some good sleep, get a good indica, okay? You will not only, you'll get good quality sleep, okay? Good productive sleep, okay? You're depressed, get a good hybrid strain, or you might need a good indica to make your mind stop wandering so much and reliving a certain trauma or thinking too hard about it. And maybe you just need to go to sleep, because sometimes sleep just might take you out of your misery, let your brain rest, let things recharge. Cannabis can help you with that. If you are taking cholesterol meds, okay, studies show that people with the highest cholesterol, that eat the most cholesterol, live the longest. People with low cholesterol die much sooner from cancer, from heart attacks, and everything else. Okay, just look it up. I can post resources below, but this is a fact. So, I mean, anytime you see somebody live to be 100, you ask them what they ate. They were eating bacon. They were eating eggs. They weren't. You don't find anybody that lived to be 100. Not like, oh, I was eating kale salad every day and drinking green juice. No, you don't ever see that. Okay. So, and this is why these kids now are so sickly. I mean, everybody has an autistic child. Like, there's so many sickly kids. Kids are sicker than they've ever been since we've been on this planet, and that's because these kids aren't getting liver. Okay, they're trying to tell these kids to drink low-fat milk or almond milk or something. Okay, they're like, oh, we're gonna eat vegan chicken. Okay, so that is a huge reason. And then you have multiple components, right? So, but for cholesterol meds, I would say you shouldn't worry about your cholesterol levels being high. Okay. Now, if you are sick, if you get surgery today, your cholesterol levels are going to go up tomorrow. And that is because cholesterol repairs damage in the body. So if you get surgery, now you have damage and it has to be repaired. Okay. Your body's going to produce cholesterol. Your cholesterol levels are going to go up because the cholesterol is going to that area to repair the damage. So sometimes people have really high cholesterol levels. It could be that what's going on with your body? Is there inflammation? Is there something being repaired? Do you have inflammation in your body? Like in the heart, when they see cholesterol, that cholesterol was there because it went to repair the damage, the inflammation and the scarring in the heart that was done by rancid seed oils like soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, and sugar. Okay. Those are the things that tear up your arteries, and then your body produces cholesterol and sends cholesterol there to repair it. The cholesterol does not cause the problem. It's trying to repair it. Okay. So, so I would tell someone, you don't need to take, cholesterol meds. But if someone did have, absorbently high cholesterol levels, I would say, well, we need to bring the inflammation down in your body. Cannabis can help that too. Cannabis is a very potent anti-inflammatory, but so is your diet. You need to cut out the seed oils, the sugars, all those pro-inflammatory foods, okay? And the foods that are going to help with that are fats and animal fats and what? And endocannabinoids are made from animal fats, and cannabis is fat soluble. So what is that all telling us? That we need more fat, which is one of my favorite things to talk about. Okay. So a diet in cannabis can prevent you from having, cannabis is also very good for your brain. It helps you generate more brain cells. Okay. So if somebody has traumatic brain injury, if somebody has, traumatic brain injury, they have a stroke, they have a concussion, or any type of traumatic brain injury, cannabis can really help with healing the brain and regenerating brain cells. Okay. Someone said, "Does intermittent fasting help?" People say a lot about fasting. I'm going to say honestly, I don't see how fasting helps with preventing dementia. I would just say fast from those medications. Stop taking them. But I think about nutrition, right, for the brain. And so you're going to need cholesterol. And if you want to fast, you can drink some raw milk, because raw milk is liquid. It's very easy to digest. It's going to give you some easy protein, some easy fats, and a little bit of carbohydrates, and some vitamins, and some calcium, and some probiotics. Or you can drink bone broth, because bone broth also is going to give you some very easy to absorb amino acids. There may be a little cholesterol in there, but you're getting a little bit of nutrition. I'm not really a big fan of fasting. People define intermittent fasting different ways. To me, intermittent fasting is not eating for some hours during the day. To me, intermittent fasting is not 24 hours and 36 hours, which some people do. If that happens to me, I only will do that because I'm someplace where, like, I just cannot get good food. Like, if I only had McDonald's as an option for 24 hours, I'm not eating for 24 hours because I'm not eating McDonald's under any circumstance. But I would never purposely say I'm not going to eat for 24 hours intermittently fast. And maybe it does help with that. I just can't tell you off the top of my head how I see where that plays a role. Um, mm, yeah. So if okay, in your life, I wouldn't suggest ever taking statins. I wouldn't ever suggest taking SSRIs. I wouldn't ever suggest taking anti-cholinergic inhibitors. And if you have family, okay, if you have parents you care about, some people's parents won't listen, but you might want to, if you care about them, you might want to try to keep them off of them and send them stuff, because there are plenty of scientists, plenty of doctors who have written books and who have videos on YouTube talking about the fact that our brain needs a lot of saturated fat and cholesterol, and the fact that these drugs can lead to dementia. And when people get dementia, that puts stress on the whole family, okay? It's a terrible thing. And a lot of times when people get dementia, they start getting mean. Cannabis, there's many studies that show that cannabis helps with dementia patients. You know, it helps them not have the angry outbursts and stuff that can happen a lot when people have dementia. So, yeah. So I think I said what I wanted to say about this. I think a lot of people are unaware. I see a lot of people, a lot of, friends of mine, people I know whose parents are getting dementia, and I say, are they on statins? Answer is always yes. People should not be so trusting of the pharmaceutical industry, and we need to go back to our traditional foods. I'm not about the keto diet or the carnivore diet or this diet. I'm about ancestral foods, which is going to be an animal-based diet, okay? The only time people was not eating animal foods because they didn't have access to it, okay? But raw dairy, eggs, red meat, bone broth are all medicinal animal foods that are nutrient dense, liver, organ meats, super important. Okay. I mean, even eating brain is good for your brain. Plenty of cultures eat brains. Mexicans eat tacos de sesos. That is brain tacos. And there are many cultures that eat brain. Eating brain is good for your brain too. Okay. So have you ever had that before? If you've ever tried brain before, please tell me where you're from and where you had it, where you tried it at, and what you thought about it. And anything you want to share. Okay. So I'm going to end this here. Also, I do work with clients. Okay. So I do work with people one-on-one for nutrition consultations, nutrition, fitness, lifestyle consultations. I do train people in person and from a distance. I do, medical advocacy work for people who you want to get your body back into balance and you don't want to be on medications, or you might be on medications that you want to get off of, or you just don't want to end up down that road. I can help you with all of that. If you want to, if you need help communicating with a medical doctor about your care and medications you're on, and digging up research to either show to your doctor or for you to have for yourself, so you can be more educated on the meds that you're given, what the consequences of them, and what you can do instead, I can help you with that. So definitely feel free to email me, thebodyscientist81@gmail.com, if you want to discuss those things. And, until I have my site up, because I'm always reading and doing. Oh, and one good book too about the brain. Okay. The Brain's Way of Healing. This is a New York Times bestseller, and I understand why. I'm sorry. Can I see it on yes. The Brain's Way of Healing. This is written by a medical doctor. Okay. Remarkable discoveries and recoveries from the frontiers of neuroplasticity. And I'm going to do a video about neuroplasticity, okay? Because this, again, the brain. So even though my background is in exercise and sports science and nutrition science, medical cannabis science, all of this also encompasses the brain, because we have a neuromuscular system. Our brain is neuromuscularly is connected to our muscles. Our nervous system is connected to our muscles. It innervates our muscles. Our brain controls our muscles and our movements. You're dealing with cannabis and cannabinoids. You're also going to deal with a lot of brain and a lot of the science of the brain. I'm going to have a medical doctor on very soon, a medical doctor in New York, to discuss SSRIs. He's completely against them, never prescribed them in his practice. I talk about cannabis, but also psychedelics also can be used for as an antidepressant in PTSD and all that, because they're dealing with serotonin receptors, which is what, they're dealing with the serotonin receptors by a different mechanism than the SSRIs, which are inhibiting serotonin from being reuptaken. The psychedelics work differently. It's a different mechanism of action, but they're both working with serotonin. And psychedelics is a lot safer. Psychedelics and cannabis is a lot safer by far, okay, than SSRIs, and more effective, safer and more effective. Okay, so I did a video on psychedelics or mushrooms or something a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, so share anything you'd like to share. Be careful with those meds. I can do a more in-depth video on this for my subscriptions on Instagram. I'm gonna start doing more subscriptions, more videos for my subscriptions, so I can go more in depth. Should you guys want that, you can join me over there, and make sure you follow me on YouTube, Instagram. Reach out to me if you want to inquire about my services, and take care of yourself. If you like this video, please like it. Please share it with somebody you think it can help. Check out my other resources. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will talk to you guys later. Be well. Take care of yourself. Take care of your brain, your gut, your skin, your air, all of that, your mental health. Okay. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Okay, on YouTube, let me close you guys out. Okay, wait, on YouTube, I see some questions. I'll just close it out on Instagram. Well, let me see. There's some questions here on YouTube. I might have to answer in the next video. Somebody said, oh, somebody just complimented my work. Thank you. I would love to come to Portugal. Portugal is a place I would love to come to. You want the foods that makes the body produce serotonin. Okay, and can it be considered an alternative for antidepressants? That's a good question. Maybe it could be. It depends. It depends on the person and what they're dealing with in that particular situation. So it can be one of the things that can contribute and help. We fast naturally during our sleep. Yes. We're the best sources of cannabis in New York City. I'm not the best person to answer that. A dispensary, but I'm not a big fan of New York dispensary weed. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of New York dispensary weed. But yeah, but I would say check dispensaries. I mean, there's weed everywhere in New York. There's smoke shops everywhere, but I'm not a big fan of the illegal smoke shops because I don't know what's sprayed on that weed. So anyhow, guys, if you learned something from this video, please like it and please share it, and take care of yourselves, okay? See you in my next video. Bye.